Right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for coming out this evening. As many of you know, we set up a talk this evening, so we've Paul Coghlan who's come over. I know Paul from home back in Mayo, and he used to actually coach me in football, so in soccer. So he used to be the one shouting at me, fucking running all over the place. So I was well trained by him. But we're always looking to do different things, lads here and ladies, you know, with the club trying to bring us to another level. So this is just something, again, different that I think will add value to every team here in the club. Paul's going to tell his story. A lot of it's about positive mindset and overcoming challenges. Some of the challenges we'll touch on sensitive subjects, stuff that we probably all have gone through or know somebody's gone through. And Paul's going to talk about going through that process and coming out the other side. So a big part of it is the 10% game and 10% talk. So Paul will talk you all through that. But just everyone, just keep the phones on silent, sit back, listen up, and I think everyone will get something from this tonight. And if we can take this away and put it into our football or camogie or hurling, whatever it is this year, I think we'll be a lot better for it. So I'm going to not talk any more rubbish, and I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Coghlan.
First and foremost, I've never done one of these previously, so I am nervous. So bear with me in the early stages. Good evening, you're all very welcome. Thank you for having me here. I'd like to thank Pop, your senior team manager, cameraman Jim, statsman and social guru Gavin, who's not here, and what I'm hearing about Johnny is that he's a club legend and your chairperson. I think to have an amazing group of people that are striving for success, I think, is a great cornerstone for you guys to work from. It really is. Where am I? Sorry. It genuinely is an honour to be here. So as I said, this is the first time I have ever done this. To be here at a club that I've heard a lot about from Pop and from Catherine is that there's a real there is a real air of, you know, we want to be successful and we want to drive on, make things bigger and better. I think what I'm hearing is there are 24 Irish counties represented here across 4 codes of GAA in this club. Well, that's very unique and it's individual to any sporting club, I think, over here from what I'm led to believe. I think that we all know there are different standards of football throughout Ireland, and you have the Super 8s, which are probably 10 of the best teams really, and it all depends who kind of gets in there. So we all know there's different standards. So within the standard, you might have guys playing football from Wexford, Waterford, to the guys from Mayo and Dublin. Legion, yes. Brilliant. So listen, I have a story to tell. I genuinely hope that it resonates with you well, whether that's personally, emotionally, mentally, or even spiritually. I think that there is something to be gained here from everybody, to be honest. Just a quick background on me. Genuinely, I love sport. All kinds of sport. I love the tactical side of it. This is something that I have taken personal love from. I have coached at underage development and senior level. And I always think that everybody should get something from, everybody should get something from somebody who has experienced it and looks at it from a tactical side. I didn't do a lot in my 20s. I enjoyed life, did a lot of boozing and that type of stuff, but I always looked and I always coached. I was genuinely at my peak fitness in 2018. I haven't done a lot since I've got carried a couple of pounds, but you wouldn't mind that. I had a few health concerns on the 26th of April 2018. I had a sore throat, I had mouth ulcers, my energy was extremely low. Nothing that I thought was, anything major. I was training five days a week. We were doing some overtime work, so it was, working pretty hard. And everything seemed to be going well as such. Particular Tuesday morning, we were doing a cardio set with a guy I do train with, and I felt like I wasn't doing enough yet. It was the most I could do. So, up to this point, I have a picture here of myself and my daughter. This is the day before I started to feel ill. So I'm out there, we're taking a photograph and walking through the woods. I'm trying to embarrass her, I'm doing a good job of it too, as she keeps telling me. I was vibrant, I was energetic, and I was healthy. So I went to visit my GP on the 29th of April. I had just thought a course of antibiotics is going to do this. I had a blood test taken at the end of February. So I thought, no need to get blood done, etc. My diagnosis came very quickly. I had gone back to my doctor on May the 10th, which coincidentally was the day after my own father's anniversary mass, who became very ill very, very quickly. I was quickly diagnosed with AML. Anybody have any idea what AML means? Because for me, I thought this is a virus, viral infection, a bad cold. I didn't know. So I don't think anybody else knows. And then this came up and it was said to me quite quickly. Acute myeloid leukemia. In the space of 2.5 weeks, I was diagnosed with this type of leukemia. I didn't have a clue what it was, how extreme it is. I didn't know anything about leukemia really. I was rushed to, after going to my doctor, he said, we need to get a blood test done for you. So he told me to go up to the Coghlan clinic. I went up to the Coghlan clinic and the first thing that was said was, what happened to your eye? I had developed a black eye overnight. But you're messing with your kids and you're pottering around. You just think maybe I got an elbow, maybe she meant it, maybe she didn't mean it, you don't know. So I went up and I got checked and he came back to me 45 minutes later and said, your bloods don't look right, we think they may have got contaminated, so, we're going to take a second test. Second test came back, results within about half an hour. He sits me down and says, we're in trouble. And I went, alright, sound. What kind of trouble are we in? A good course of antibiotics or something, and I'll be fine. He said, you need to get over to University College Hospital Galway as quickly as you can. And I went, fair enough. Still, I didn't have a clue. Not a clue. He pops up and he says, you take my advice now before you leave here. Don't go to accident and emergency. Don't go to general admissions. Find a CLAD award as quickly as you can. Again, my answer, okay, so, sound, yeah, no bother. I went in and within 45 minutes of getting to the CLAD award, sorry, first of all, you go to the CLAD award and I'm greeted by two girls. I don't know them. Hello, Paul. I went, oh shit. They know me. I haven't fathered their children, I'm pretty sure this. I go, alright, so yeah. Within 45 minutes, I was in a bed with my knees perked up into my chest and a bone marrow biopsy taken. For anybody who thinks they might be fun to get done, after 9 of them now at this stage, nah, it's not very, very pleasant. So I go in and I'm told I have AML, and of course you're thinking, okay, I've got cancer. Shit. This isn't good. You openly question yourself because you ask, right, can I beat this? Am I mentally and physically strong enough? They say coming in here that you have to be, coming in fit is really, really important. My consultant, Dr. Yanis, this guy is the ultimate Polish block. He comes into the room and says, good afternoon. Oh yeah? He said, we're in a lot of trouble. He said, tonight we're going to do our best to slow down the spread of the negative white cells you have in your body. Okay? So that night, there are fluids, etc., etc. The following morning he arrives in to me. And I'm asking him the questions, hey doc, what's the story here? What are my chances? And he said, less than 10%. I went, that's alright, that's not bad. 90% chance of beating this, I'm a fucking winner. He said, this is 2 months before my 40th birthday. You have it wrong. I'm giving you a generous 10% chance to survive. You're a very sick young man. I said, oh shit. It all became real. I started crying. I started bawling, crying, and I'm not a bit ashamed to say it. My initial thought was, I've got a daughter who's making her first communion on May the 11th of 2019. I have to see it. I have to see it. The previous picture you seen was of me being vibrant and healthy and enjoying my time with my daughter. This picture doesn't do it justice. Within 2.5 weeks, my gums have receded. That picture shows me very yellow and very grey. My eyes are sunk into my head, and I'm sitting with my daughter, thinking, what's happened here? You obviously feel guilty. The harsh reality comes very, very quickly. There's no quick fix to this, and the University College Hospital Galway was to become my home for many months into my future. As you can see, I never lost my hips. I may have lost a load of weight, but my hips still remain good and chunky.
Big arse in it.
Yeah, no, it's lovely. The roller coaster of events that will forever shape the rest of my life, or to begin within the next 24 hours. Treatment. So, Dr. Yanis comes into me and says, I have 3 major concerns that will affect your treatment go forward. Sorry. 3 major concerns were, will the chemotherapy work quick enough to catch the leukemia, which was now so aggressive? My white cell count should be between 5,000 and 10,000 of a healthy person walking around. Not a bother. My white cell count when I first went to the Galway clinic was 180,000. 45 minutes later, there were 210,000. By the time I got to the University College Hospital, which was about half an hour, 40 minutes after that, there were now 240,000. Had I delayed another day or 2 maximum, most likely the outcome was dead. So it was no joke now. It was becoming very real for me. I'm a messer, I'm a joker, but this was the first time I've really had to realise, this is really, really serious. Secondly, would the aggressiveness of the chemotherapy kill me? Not only was a very strong chemotherapy drug then pumped directly into my heart, but there was also the risk that the hundreds of thousands of excess white blood cells would also break down or release massive quantities of toxins into my body and place enormous pressure on my internal organs, particularly my heart, kidney, liver and spleen. The likelihood of this happening was now extremely high. And thirdly, would my body and all the critical organs be able to sustain the chemo, the toxins of the blood and any bone marrow, any hospital infections over the coming days and weeks? The aim of the treatment was to wipe all the blood cells from my blood and my bone marrow. The red blood cells and platelets would now be replaced by transfusion over the coming months from donors. Without any white blood cells, the risk of the smallest infection causing severe illness was now very high. The question was, will my marrow recover and start making white cells again? And then the bigger and more important question was, will these white cells be leukemic or normal? Thank God for my girlfriend who's standing over there, because she knew all about this medical jargon. I didn't have a clue. Not a clue. Next came the question about my fertility. Now we had previously spoken, myself and my partner Linda, And spoken about, we're not going to have any more kids. He has 2 girls and I have a girl. So as you can imagine, when it comes to watching football, as I'm constantly told, it's 4 versus 1. Guess who wins? I give you him, not me. So he said to me that if I did want to freeze my sperm samples, I'd have to go to Dublin, leave on the Friday, and back on the Monday. If I did that, he would have told me to go home. Didn't have time. The rush was on. Next came the importance of fitness. Now luckily, I started training a couple of years earlier. I was training 5 days a week. I was at my fittest, both mentally and physically. I was strong. He said to me, had I come in with any underlying condition at all, he would not have been able to start with this particular aggressive chemotherapy. He spoke about organ health. This is particularly relevant to a lot of sports teams. He asked me a question, do I take drugs? I genuinely don't. And then he said, specifically, body-enhancing drugs, steroids. I said, I don't. He said, I asked this because it's very important. If you take steroids, the stress on your body that you don't feel is causing so much damage at that particular time that if you need chemo, it has just absolutely stretched everything you have. So the chemotherapy that's going to hit you has now knocked on the wall, it's too stretched, that means the chemo would have to stop. A guy I got to know in the hospital, guy 58, come in fit, strong, genuinely, he was diagnosed with the same as I have. Wasn't as far forward as mine was. He came in, he was strong, he had 20% dose of what I got hit with. He had fluid on his heart. He went up to get that released and he died on the table. So this just reiterated to me, Jesus Christ, I'm a lucky guy here. Unlucky, yes, but lucky to be still here, absolutely. As I said, this all started within a very quick space of time. My chemo started within 24 hours of arriving at the hospital. This is not heard of. This is not ideal because they haven't done all of the relevant tests on all of the organs. They hit me with 23 sessions of chemo in 9 days. The first 4 days, I have no recollection of anything. I was reminded by my younger brother and a very close friend of Pops. He said, it was a bit morbid, he said, but it was hilarious. And I went, talk to me. How was this so funny? He said, I was lying in the bed, right, and you know the side railings that come up? He said, you sat up in like the bed, you ravelled and you raved, you were like, we can do it, we can do it! I looked at Shane, tapped the bed rail, started laughing, and off to sleep. I was obviously talking, I think I might have been talking to you guys to be honest, I'm not sure. But genuinely, he said it was hilarious. It was mad. I'm a big fan of these captions. They're like, I'm a real thinker of, you know, stay positive, read these. The blink of an eye, everything can change. It did. So forgive often and love with all your heart. You never know when you will not have the chance ever again. Very, very relative to what happened to me in such a short period of time. Inner strength. I genuinely believe the speed and aggressiveness that AML hit me did me a favour. That may sound strange. Genuinely, I think if I had been told to go home for 3 or 4 days, process it, I'd have had talked myself into a grave. Because straight away you're like going, what if, and how about, and you know, I'm going to put money into my daughter's account and I'm going to do this and this. It becomes very unreal, surreal. You're thinking, shit, you know, what exactly is happening there? I had doubts and fears that I'd make it out, that I'd be here, standing here. I made myself a promise that if I got through this, I was going to try and give something back. I've been part of huge fundraisers back in Mayo for raising money. This is not about raising money, it's about thoughts. Positivity for me is, I had to remain positive. Because if I didn't, I don't know where I'd be now. To laugh and to smile every single day, as I did up in that hospital, is what I've named my very own inner inspiration. Because if I didn't laugh and smile, I could do every single day, I think life would have changed too quickly. Again, another one of my famous captions. I think they're here more for me than for you guys. It was at this time that Dr. Yavis spoke of a bone marrow transplant I may have had. May have had to have. I was a prime candidate for it. My three brothers, who were named Ian, Shane and Martin, were all checked to see if they were a match. They're now called useless 1, useless 2 and useless 3. But amazingly, my bone marrow started to replenish itself. And I did need a bone marrow transplant done, thank God. That's 3 months up in Dublin, and nobody wants any time in Dublin, ever. So again, I was kind of going, I'm getting all the lucky breaks here. You learn a lot when you're up in hospital. And this is something that you can relate back to the part of a football team. Myself and patients were not great friends. We never had. We never got on. I'm always on the move, on the go, and to sit in hospital for months and months on end, you got to learn quick. I also realised that movement, interaction and laughter were extremely important parts of my recovery. So you're out on that ward, walking on the ward, often in a mask because you're prone to infection, but just to meet other patients, not with the same diseases I had, but just to talk about it, you know, say, just, okay, I'm not on my own here. There's only 25 patients on this ward. There's all individual rooms because prone to infection, etc., etc. So to interact with nurses and fellow patients has become a really important part, because you see guys walking out healthy and you're thinking, that's going to be me, that's got to be me. This is where your positive thoughts come back into it again. You learn not to get too excited about a break. You might get home for 2 or 3 days, but it's to remain positive, thinking, I will get out there. I will get outside to the outside world.
Sorry, I have a question there. Just looking at that, so we talk about adversity a lot when we come up, and Jesus, God knows that we will never come up against adversity like this, but how did you, at what stage did you turn around and say, this is the adversity that I face, how am I going to get through this, and really tell yourself that you are going to get through it? Because we when you're related to football, we find ourselves in positions where we're missing some of our strongest players. We're up against teams that, on paper, they're stronger than us. We're in positions that we shouldn't be in. They all have written us an example. So that's adversity to us. When you talk back about your adversity, how did you get through that?
Genuinely, and I'm not giving you a fast answer, I smiled every single day. So I had personal goals. It's something I actually go into a little bit later on. I had personal goals where I had to see my daughter's first communion. So this was a real focal point for me. So I had my daughter coming up to me in hospital with a little suitcase. She was 7, with board games. Now I'm not very good at them, so you can realise that she was thinking, she was walking out of that hospital going, champion. Your question is very, to be honest, right? I think, so you're faced with a certain adversity, I think it's a very individual thing. So within football, you have to be collective. You know, and I'm like sure there are certain guys here who don't really get on well, and I'm sure there are guys who get on great. I think it's individual. I know that's a short answer, but that's how I felt, because I was on my own. So I kind of, my adversity was stay positive, and I was very lucky. I had a lot of visitors up, so they were keeping me busy all the time, that kind of stuff, and you know, you do the stuff in like hospitals. I'm not giving you a short answer, but that's how it was for me, to be honest.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Your mental health. I think you become very aware of how critical mental health is, because it's very easy to get lonely. Very easy to sit in a room and everybody's gone back to Westport, it's about an hour and a half drive away from the hospital. And you're sitting in this room in the evening going, What if things don't work out? What if my daughter doesn't have a dad? What happens if my partner has lost her best friend? And her two girls who see, her two daughters see me as a real father figure. I'm the messer. See, you become very conscious that life is short, and just to be very aware that you don't want to lie in that bed, pull the bed sheets over your head and let life and the world pass you by. That's very, very important. That was for me. I walked a lot. The struggles I had, the longest period in hospital I had was 6 weeks without getting a break. It's a long time, because the first week you're in there and they're prepping you for chemo, the second week you're getting chemo, the third week your bloods are dropping, your platelets are dropping, all this type of stuff. The fourth week you're building back up. Week 5 and 6 they're monitoring you. You get infections and stuff, and they also had to be controlled and monitored very closely. You get out then for 2 days. You're at home, you come down from Galway, or your body is depleted, you're half asleep coming home, and you're trying to lift it for people coming over, but you're very prone to infection. You can't have young kids, or you can't have animals, because they draw a lot of dirty stuff that, you know, your kids eating chewing off the ground and that type of stuff. I was missing home, my family and friends. You don't realise how important they are to you until they're not there. The days became very long for me, and I during a lot of at the end of my spells, I was in hospital. You become very lonely. Every day becomes longer. I started to feel emotionally weak. I felt like I was more of a burden than I ever was, and I love my parents and my girlfriend, but I am a burden. Let's be honest. I'm not very good in the kitchen. I think I'm allergic to washing clothes. So, you know, I had visitors coming up to me that arrive up at, you know, maybe 11:30 in the morning, and I was at such a negative and low place that I was straight away saying, do you not want to go and get a sandwich? So I wouldn't be feeling guilty. They would go and get a sandwich, and I'd be saying, how come they're gone for so long? They'd come back, and I'd be saying, do you not want to go and get a cup of coffee? I felt like I was in a burden. I started to hide my feelings to protect others. The lads texting me. You know, we have a couple of golf group texts, and you don't want to see half the stuff that you see on them. I'm sure there's pretty similar stuff goes on here, I'm sure.
It's all over now.
Yeah, it was. So I started to hide my feelings. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of vertically ill. Anyone know what that is? Any ideas at all? Vertically ill is 9 months on, I'm standing here. Colour's back on my face, the weight is back on, all the hair is back, and plenty more than I've never seen previously. Inside, there's a personal trauma going on. So, there are certain infections, you know, fungal infections, your belly button, and all this type of simple stuff. So it's all because on the inside, my insides are inside out. They are just trying to get back together, so I'm constantly hungry now. And that's big because my gut is not taking the nutritional value out of food, it's just taking it as food. Sorry, I was saying? Somebody came to me in hospital and said, things will get back to normal for you soon. This is all in connection to vertically. So, the physical side is that, you know, things are not working right inside that. Then you have the mental side. The mental side of it is where people say, things will get back to normal soon. I'll never see normal ever again. Normal I will never see it. Because my normal now has changed. My life will never be the same. This is, as I said, you learn an awful lot. I learned about my body, mind and soul. So we all know that chemotherapy was treating my body. And it was working. It was leaving a fair trace of damage behind it, but it had saved my life to this point. But the question was, because I was feeling so lonely and mentally struggling, genuinely, emotionally, I was getting weaker and weaker and weaker, I started to practice belly breathing and meditation. Now, I don't know what any of you guys do the belly breathing. I'd highly recommend it, genuinely. So it's in your nose until here. Because we all go, give yourself a chance to fill up. It gives you time to think, it clears your mind. I visualized, so my visualizations were funny. I visualized of playing golf again until I went back and started playing golf, and then says, why the fuck am I playing this game? It's breaking my heart. I hate it, but I love it. But I visualized getting home to Westport, sitting in my mum's house, because when I went back I was too weak to live by myself. So out in my mum's house, it's a beautiful area, but you sit down outside, the weather was stunning, like, the weather was beautiful. You're sitting there in a pair of shorts, flip-flops, and you're like going, oh man, this is what it's all about. Those days go very quickly when you're due back to hospital within a couple of days. Reiki and crystal healing, I don't know whether any of you guys do crystal healing. My partner practices crystal healing and Reiki. For anybody who hasn't done it and just want the lads to find out, I'd advise anybody at some stage in your life, try it. I genuinely think it had a huge impact on where I am now, 9 months on. Like, I shouldn't be here. I was told by a pharmacist maybe 2 months ago when I explained to her that I needed caffeine tablets because I had a lumbar puncture and I got mad headaches. I got a side reaction to it. I had to eat, lie down for about 8 or 9 days. These headaches were bananas. Once I lifted my head above horizontal, it was mad headaches. I hardly walk. So, to have a clear mind, I lost where I was, I'm sorry. We'll move on to self-care and resilience. Sorry, I'm just, concentration is going this whole. So self-care is the obvious one. Get up every day, shower and eat. Sometimes that was a challenge. You know, they don't put a seat in your shower for hospital for ornaments's sake. It is there because some days you have to sit on that chair because you have no energy. Self-belief is believing you would get out of this, that there is a chance that I will. And the resilience, resilience to me is a great word, especially when it comes to football. Because I speak of this because mindset of believing in yourselves in all walk, but particularly in sport. Resilience in sport is a physical battle that grows into a mental battle over 70 minutes. And I speak about this. So, whatever one of you guys are a cornerback, okay? The first 2 balls in, you clean the corner forward. Mentally, you're thinking, I can have him, he's in my pocket. Okay, so physically you're thinking, I'm 7 foot tall and built like Pop. Or you go the other way, the corner forward beats you. How do you feel? Weak. Oh shit, he has me. So this is where the mental side of it comes in. Oh, so the next ball that's coming in, you're thinking, do I have to stay a yard off him and try to hit him hard as he picks it up or whatever. So there's a physical and mental battle in every ball you win in a football match. I set myself, in July last year, I set myself a personal goal. It was in my 2nd cycle of chemo. I wanted to get home and celebrate with my friends and my family. Just a couple of lads. Have my daughter, have Linda and her kids over, just to feel like it was normal. I was becoming institutionalized in University College Hospital, Galway. There's no life outside it. This was to promote the positive mentality. This was like going home and having a great boost of, oh, it's great just to know that I can get home. I can have 2 cans of Carlsberg. It was the nicest 2 drinks I've ever had in my entire life, but only 2. To really realise that yes, I can get home. I can show my daughter that Dad can be there on days to be celebrated. And this is where I come up with a decision that if I came out of this, I was going to give something back. I don't know how bored you guys are or are not here, but this is my way of trying to to kind of start something new for myself. This is part of the process for me mentally. I've done the counsel thing and I spoke about it. I spoke about doing this and been open and speaking to guys I don't know. You might laugh at me, you might throw pint glasses at me. But it was something that I think is good that I can share with you guys. I mean, nobody knows who's having mental struggles or a parent or a friend who's going through cancer. This is my way of just saying, stay positive. Tell them that there is a good story. Don't fall too low. I won a lot of battles, a lot of infections that I was told could delay a treatment plan. And ideally, they have a plan, but it's kind of like, we hope it works, but it probably never will work. Funny enough, every infection I got, you don't want to know about some of them, trust me, came at the right time. I think my only time I got delayed was from cycle 2 to cycle 3, where they were waiting on a target therapy drug for me from Japan. It's the only time that my treatment plan didn't go exactly to date. This target therapy drug cost 30,000 euros. It's about, I don't know, quarter the size of that bottle. 30,000 euros. Dr. Yanis got it for me as a favour because he's head of research and development in Europe. This was a drug that was taken off the market 10 years ago. It was back on the market. He said, we need to give it a go. So I reacted to this drug better than anyone ever expected. They were expecting me that they might need surgery after it with infections, etc., etc. Everything went perfectly well. The great news last October, end of last October, where they came into me and said, cycle 5 is not required. The treatment plan has gone extremely well. Everything that could have gone right has gone right. Every single day that I was meant to have a transfusion done, it was done. My plan going forward is I have 2 years of monthly blood and bone marrow tests lay ahead as an outpatient. Dr. Yanis clearly said, don't miss an appointment. I said, why? I'm not very good at a Polish accent. I said, why? He said, because the leukemia might come back and you might die. Simple. This guy doesn't code any. This is straight down the line stuff. So in summary, I have won many battles, but the question still lies ahead. Will I win this war? The AML war. At the moment, every blood test that I've got, every bone marrow biopsy that they've taken, have all been positive. They're all showing good results, thank God. And even in the midst of 6 months in hospital, we still decided to have a bit of crack, have a beer. So this guy here he's a monster, by the way. 18 stone of absolute brick shithouse. This guy is serious. This is the guy I was training with. This guy is an amazing man. He's a fantastic friend. Every Tuesday evening after work, that man come up to me in my hospital bed. It was some nights when we would go for a drive out to the prom, out in Galway, just to walk along. Me would bring a mask on, roasting hot evening, sunglasses and a hood on. But it was just to get out and that feeling of, okay, everyone looking at you, it's not really a great feeling, but it was just to get out and that level of normality. We ended up going out for a meal, myself and Linda. This guy here, point blank said to me when I left hospital, you fucking ruined my summer. The best summer we have had in years and years and years, and you decide to get sick. He said, and I can say that to you because you're alive. He was very honest. This is just my family. And this here was my most emotional day that I think I've ever had. Even saying it now, I can feel myself kind of bubbling up. I told my daughter when I was sick that Daddy would be home for his birthday so she could help him cut his cake. Because me and my daughter have made an agreement. Daddy is not 40. Daddy is 39 plus 1. So this was a very important day for her. Long story short, I could have made the last half an hour very short, Long story short, I survived. There you go. In hospital, I was told about goal setting. And this is where the football side of it comes into it. So a guy said to me, create a goal. I said, all right. He said, don't just create it though. We can all create goals. I can set one now, no problem. It's about setting the goal, not just creating it. You got to work towards that goal, and that's where football. You can't go to a training pitch and walk around it. You got to work hard. You got to get hit hard. You got to run hard. Achieve that goal. Keep improving. But the most important part of this is keep going. It doesn't end there. Set another goal. And I presume that's where you guys are in the 99th year of Thomas McCurtain's GAA club here in London. Do you want to be playing senior league and senior champion football next year? If you don't set a goal, it won't happen. It's not going to fall into your hands. And you made a good point to me earlier on, that you may not be as good on paper. I love this. This is very, very true to Thomas McCurtain's GAA football team. Expecting things to change while putting in an effort is like waiting for a ship at an airport. It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's very, very simple. I named this the 10% game. When I was Pop's manager a number of years ago, I always spoke at half-time, you're losing 1-0 or whatever, about when you think you're absolutely on your last legs and you have nothing left, there's always 10%. So I'm here telling you guys, and I'll make it a personal promise, that last sprint that you think you can't make, that last lift in a weights room or whatever you guys have, ropes and kettlebells or whatever, you know, and you think, geez, I can't, I'm absolutely bollocks. Yes, you can. Because when you reach down and lift a deadlift, and you're thinking, I can't, my hands are burning, my hands are sore, you can do that one more lift. Do you want to be the person who goes into a pub afterwards going, jeez, we were so unlucky. But you're the guy sitting there sipping the pint saying, I could have made that last run. Which could have given us an opportunity to get a draw or to win a game. Do you want to be that person going, fuck it, I could have, but I didn't. Why? You didn't activate the 10% that's in your body. And I mean that sincerely. For a guy who didn't train for many years and went back training, and I had the 18-stone monster over me, it was a personal friend, going, there's another 10 seconds left. Oh, I can't, George, I can't, I'm absolutely 2 more. 2! But I did them. The 10% was there. It's in everybody. So when you struggle to believe you're going to win, you've got to visualize, you've got to activate the 10% that is within you. You all have within you the capacity to be heroic. I didn't think I was heroic at all, until it was pointed out to me. My heroic was lifting myself to sit up in the bed with no energy so my daughter could come in and see me. My heroic was pushing myself beyond what I was capable of doing through my illness, but I still did it. Heroic is individual. Only you can make up your own statement of why you are heroic. An assignment would be to set one goal for yourself, whether that's personally, at home, in work, with a teammate, working harder in the gym, lifting the extra weight, doing the extra sprint. I think everybody here should set a goal. Not create it, without setting it, do both. Would that be too much to ask for anybody here to set a personal goal? I don't think it is. Regardless of external influences, you're never beaten. this comes back to you. Injuries, bad pitch, pouring rain, freezing cold. You're never beaten. Unless you let it be, did you? Unless you think that our cornerback, midfielder and full forward are injured, and we don't have a fucking chance. Is that an attitude to go into any football match with? Nah. And it's easy to do it, don't get me wrong, we're all human here. The difference, I believe, for you guys this year, after talking to Pop, genuinely at length, is the difference between success and failure this year. So you guys can go and achieve what you want to achieve, what your goals are, is this 10% that I speak of. Ironically, I was given 10%, less than 10%. If I hadn't believed in my own words, my girlfriend Linda would not have a partner and her best friend. My mum wouldn't have her favourite son. That's confidence. And more importantly, to me personally, my daughter wouldn't have a father. My 10% worked for me. It has, for me personally, it has given my daughter a father. So when you're out there, whatever training is, Thursday evening again, you think, I'm tired, long day at work. I think 10%, I think everybody has it. I'm quite sure Pop doesn't want to hear you crying. Oh, cry with the win. The comeback, lads, is always stronger than the setback. Down 5 points at half time. You come back to win. How sweet is that? 10%, lads. It's in every single one. That's me. Thank you. Any questions, we'll ask them when I'm having a pint.
I was going to say, will you have a pint, will you?
Just before we finish up, a huge thank you to Paul for coming over here. I think you can see why now I want him to come over and tell a story. It's hard hitting, but it's all true. And you know, we're related there to football, but like what we always say, football, this is more than just football. You know, this club and everyone is here. You're here for more than just football. By Norris and Ash, you know, we didn't come here to play football. We came here to make friends and to go through it. And you know, we're all going to have setbacks along the way. But if we all believe in that 10% that Paul spoke about, all going to have that positivity, that outlook. You know, we can achieve anything at all. You know, ladies, men's, camogie, hurling, we can achieve anything. And you know, looking ahead to 2019. About adversity, we said like people might look at us and say we're not the best team. But we can, if we set our goals for it, everyone goes together. You can do what you want. This man shouldn't be here. Everyone told him he wouldn't be here. He didn't listen to them. He did not fucking listen to one person, and that's why he's here. But that's why he's here, lads, and that's what we can do. And if we have that mindset, if we take that little nugget, that 10% every session for the rest of the year, you know. Why can't we bring every cup back? When we start winning those championships and cups, we'll have your man to come over and drink out with us. Yeah. So lads, if anyone wants to ask me a question, ask me a question. And
just before you finish, I want, after speaking with Pop, Pop's a very passionate guy. And I'm sure to have to listen to me, a Mayo man, and Pop on Thursday night, that's not easy. But personally, from what he's told me, you know, I genuinely do think that I want to wish you guys the best of luck. Don't forget, work hard. Success comes naturally after you work hard, you know. So genuinely, all the best going forward, and I genuinely hope everything goes well. Stay healthy.
Which hospital in Dublin will you eat? We're toast to in Dublin when you win.
You didn't have to go again. Stay west of the Shannon.
No, but thought you said you went.
Nothing good happens to us.
Drop through it.
Nothing good happens.
Drop through it, Shannon.
But it would have
Because one of our ex-players is in there at the moment, Dave Buckley.
it would have been James. St. James's.
That's it, that's what Dave
The
Buckley.
only place they do.
We got one of our ex-players, one of our hurlers, Dave Buckley.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Oh, yeah.
What's
What's your name?
He's working with me in the tractor now.
Oh, yeah. Ah, deadly. Fucking handy enough there now. She wouldn't been with me there. We're going to match it. Where was the match? Hey, anyway, at the station, yeah. So we did, you know, if you come out of the station, turn left, big block of flags. Yeah, train station, yeah. So you come out of the train station, big block of flags. There used to be forward offices, actually. But behind that, there's another block of flags, newly built. I wouldn't wait another forward, newly built. That's where we are, literally 30-second walk from the station.